I also wanted to mention that we work hand in hand with the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management, and Lou Macaron is the project manager who's been at Johnston Meader, I might add, who's been working with us on this site for a very long time, so he's got a lot of institutional knowledge about it. So that's the process. Why do we need to take action here at the Woonasquatucket River? The site includes a portion of Johnston and Rhode Island. The river goes right through, so half and half is each of the towns. Most of the original contamination started from we call the source area. And that is, there we go. The source area is right up here, and it's right off of Route 44. And it includes, it's about 9 acres, and it includes what currently is there now, and that's the Centredale Manor apartment complexes and the Brook Village apartment complexes. It then goes down for about 1.5 miles down below that, passing both the Allendale, including both the Allendale Pond and the Lyman Mill Pond, and the stretch of the river that goes right alongside the source area. So how did it get contaminated? It unfortunately has an industrial legacy that's been passed down, and its past uses were chemical manufacturing and drum recycling, which has resulted in a handful of different contaminants, but PCBs and dioxin are the largest issues that we face here. And a lot of that contamination during the manufacturing was released directly into the river. Some of it was also buried, and we have evidence to suggest that there may still be material that's buried in the source area. So just because you have contamination does not necessarily mean that there's risk to the environment or to human health. What you need is what's called an exposure pathway. You need to have some way for you to be able to reach the contaminants or vice versa. In this case, with this site, it's eating contaminated fish is a real concern in terms of having a direct pathway to the contamination, as well as direct skin contact or accidental ingestion of sediment or soil. So, and as I mentioned, those 4 short-term cleanups were designed to take care of immediate risk at the site. So we know what the issues are. We know dioxin, PCBs, main contaminants of concern. We know that there is indeed an exposure pathway here at the site, as we just said. So what are we going to try to achieve in our cleanup goals? As you can see, we have 4 cleanup objectives that are, any of the cleanup approaches are designed to be able to achieve these 4 objectives. You can see them. What I want to be able to mention is a notion called background level. This is an urban area. The entire Northeast is an urban area. What comes with that is an industrial legacy that we all are dealing with living in the Northeast. And with that mixed use comes contamination, as well as sometimes natural contamination in addition. So with that, there's presence of contamination. So outside of the activities that occurred in the source area, North Providence and Johnston face contamination from just being in an urbanized area. So that's what we call background levels, and I just wanted to flag that for the purpose of EPA cannot clean up a site to below what the area's background levels are. So we use that as a guide of how much we can do. Having said that, we still do have these objectives. We want to eliminate unacceptable risks to human health and to the environment. Obviously, we need to comply with environmental regulations. We want to minimize short-term impacts and optimize long-term benefits for wildlife. And obviously, we don't want movement of contamination that goes downstream. So how do we suggest getting there? I'm going to ask if Mike Jasinski can come up, and he's going to speak to you about what our preferred alternative is for getting to those objectives. Just want this because you just yes. Well, just don't do it.